Week 2 prediction show. I'm Howard Sitt along with Alphonse Fonz, Mystery of the Las Vegas Raiders, and Meyer of the Minnesota Vikings. Well, Week 2 is here and we are ready to make our predictions. And let's get right to it. Our first matchup of the day, we have the Las Vegas Raiders in the 9 a.m. slate coming across the country, with the time change versus the Miami Dolphins.
9 a.m. We have a new
9 a.m. 9 a.m. Please note 9 a.m. Raiders, Dolphins. Big matchup. 2 0-1 teams desperate to get in the win column. Few points on this game. J.K. Casson and Joey Satson's debuts. How will that go for the Raiders? Dolphins, does Salt Howell bounce back? What do they do with that offensive line? Does Robert have a breakout game that we expect from him? Does Roditi line up well against Robert? All big question marks that we'll have answered on Sunday. Meyer, I want you to go first. I want you to make a prediction here. Who you have between the Raiders and Dolphins and why you think that's going to happen.
Do you want a spread to go with it?
I definitely want a spread. First, give me who you have winning, and then you can give me the spread.
I got the Raiders winning this game 27-25. So I got the Raiders -2. I got them at that position because we got Roditi and Rubio on that defense. Fonz as a leader, and Sol scored. He scored some points this week offensively, and I think their biggest struggle was on the extra point, which is why they're going to struggle. They will score 4 touchdowns, but they won't be able to plug in those extra points, which you were saying earlier. That was such an important factor in these games. That's why they'll end up with 25 points. Fonz, on the other hand, has a team that can break the plane on those extra points. I think they'll score those 4 touchdowns, get those extra points in, and win by just 2 points.
Raiders by 2. That is a bold prediction for a team coming off a 25-0 blowout. I mean, you have them giving up 25 points again, but this time they're going to score 27. I will stick with the way I've been going. Fonz is not going to like this. I'll give them a little bit more of a fair chance this time. I think that their team is going to be more put together this week. With J.K. coming back, I think the Dolphins are going to get. The Raiders are going to take the lead early. I think in this game. I think Saul's going to come in nervous again. I think that he feels that his job is on the line at this point early in the season. But I think that Robert will rally the troops. I think that the Dolphins will win this game by 5 points. I won't make the score prediction, but I think that the Dolphins -5 is the line I want to set. Fonz, I know how you feel about that. I won't ask you. We'll let you.
I'm going to keep my words and my predictions at 0, and you'll see what I have to do on the field, and that's that.
Fun game.
The next 9 o'clock game we have Joe Aidson's Vikings 1-0 versus Joe G's Cardinals 0-1. Meyer, that's your team. Interesting matchup. So Cardinals lost Torque last week. Hopefully he'll be back, which will definitely be a bump for them. Zach Casson for the Viking coming off a unbelievable week. How will he perform? Will he continue his hot streak, or will he come back down to earth? Will Abe Haber and Savon be able to hold up Kaz? We know Kaz had an amazing week 1. Will Savon and Abe Haber be able to do it? And on the flip side, will Kaz be able to? Abe Haber is a force to be reckoned with, and we know Savon. He's not going to go down easy. I think that's the storyline there. Fonz, I'll let you do the analysis early and make a prediction on this matchup.
So listen, I fully think that first and foremost, what I know best is the line. I don't think Kaz has a chance against Savon and Abe Haber. I think that's going to be a problem, and we're going to see what Zach Casson, I remember his name, what Zach Casson is going to be able to do with guys in his face and pressure. It's going to be a very interesting game. There's a lot of dynamics. The Cardinals still, don't have their full team. Haven't had their full team play, and they just added a new guy in Joe Ashkenazi. So I really, I think that they'll do good. I know what Joe brings to the table, and I think it's something that the Cardinals desperately need. You have your your big basher now in Turner, and then you could spread out Joe and Teddy on the outside, and I think that's a very formidable offense. But at the end of the day, I really think that the Vikings are just, they look like they were clicking on, mostly all cylinders in that first game that they played, and I think that they're going to win this game easily. It's going to be, a high-scoring game. I think that Joji, gets his touchdowns, but at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a late pick that's going to, put the Cardinals in the coffin.
So what's your, how much are the Vikings winning this
I think the Vikings win by a touchdown.
touchdown? So you're giving them 7.
I'm giving them -7.
-7 Vikings. I will follow you with my prediction. I think that the Vikings are the better team here. I think that the Cardinals faced a tough challenge last week versus the Browns. I think that Zach Hassan is going to be have another amazing week. I don't see him slowing down at all. Meyer, I know you're sitting to my right, but I think he's going to have an amazing week. I don't know who's going to guard him. If Joji guards him, maybe they have a better chance. I think Joji has to step up and say, I'm going to be that number 1 defender. But then, you have matchups elsewhere. How are you going to take those guys? So the Cardinals are in a tough spot here. They're 0-1. They're desperate. So I will give them that. I think that the Vikings may come out a little flat coming off that high, but Zach seems to be clicking like we've never seen. That Casson bond is working. I have to take the Vikings in this game. I'll take them winning by 4 points. I'll give the Cardinals a little bit of a fair shot here. I think that Zach Casson will hit Meyer Casson with about 3 minutes on the clock. Joji will get the ball back, but will not be able to score a touchdown. That's my prediction. Vikings -4. Fonz, you have Vikings -7. Let's move into the 10-15 slot. 10-15 slot here. We have the Packers and the Browns. So Packers 0-1, Browns coming in at 1-0. Meyer, why don't you give us your initial thoughts on this matchup?
I think my biggest question is Jared playing or not? If Jared's playing, then my prediction would be way different. I think if Jared plays, I think the Packers bounce back and they get their first win of the season. Meat's on the line for the Browns. It's big stuff. He is Joe Thomas. He is the second coming.
This is the matchup. This is the trade. Isaac Beta for Ralph Hannon. So, you know they're both going to be coming in with a chip on their shoulder, especially Ralph Hannon. Elliott chipped him off and said, "I don't need you."
Right.
Ralph wants to show him that he's a better option over me.
This was a Browns team that they couldn't all ride the elevator together. They wanted to start the season off because of the weight problem. But now Ralph's out there in Green Bay, and playing him this week, he looked I have a bruise on my arm from one play at tight end guarding him, and he's coming in strong. But I do think that Jared being there is going to add an extra dynamic to their offense that's going to be able to overpower Elliott and his high-powered offense and defense. I think Meat's great. I think he's a strong player. He's unbelievable. But quarterback to quarterback, I think is what it's going to come down to. And I think Ike has the edge over Elliott.
Fonz. Well, did you make a...
I'm sorry. I think I would take the Packers in a 28-26 game.
So -2 again.
Much like my last game, -2 towards the
So
Packers.
you're predicting a lot of close games this week.
Yes, I do think the Packers do have a very strong short game, which is why I think they'll get those extra points in there. And minus the Packers.
Fonz.
Listen, I'm not going to make any predictions on player of the week, but the player of the week is going to be in this game.
Really? So are you predicting a shootout? Is that what you're saying?
I am not.
Book before touchdown?
I am predicting a revenge game like none other from Ralph Hannon.
Wow.
Ralph Hannon is going to show Elliott what he brought to the table and what Elliott traded away. I think Meat has no chance against Ralph Hannon. I looked at Meat's game. I know what Ralph brings to the table, and I don't think Meat can move his legs fast enough to take off Ralph on the edge. I really, I'm very high on Ralph. I regret not picking him. I'm telling you right now, I don't care about the rest of the game. Ralph Hannon's going to be the impact player in this game on offense and on defense.
2 ways. Wow.
And I think that Ike Mavora rises up and rallies the troops and becomes that leader in the locker room. and pushes his team to a win against the Browns.
And how many points are they winning by?
I think they win by 4 points.
4 points.
I'm not sure what the score is going to be, but it's going to be 1, as Meyer just mentioned, on that extra point conversion. And I think that while the Browns have, this flashy offense with Elliott and Meat protecting him, they're not going to stand a chance against Ralph Hannon with a chip on his shoulder for getting traded away. And that's just the bottom line.
I think that you make a great point. I think that, Meat, he was playing one-on-one last week, so if he's struggling, where are they going to go? You know what I mean? They're going to have to move IB back to line, and we know, we said earlier about how we feel about that. I have to disagree with both of you guys. I think that in terms of quarterbacks, I think Elliott Sack is a far better quarterback than Ike Rivera. I think that that's the difference in this game. I think the Browns make more plays. I think this will be a low-scoring affair.
Elliott's got to be able to throw the ball with Ralph on his ass every
I
time.
think Meat will do a fine job. I think Meat will do a fine job with that. I saw his blocking last week was textbook, Michael Orr style. I think that this will be a low-scoring affair. I think that the Packers have great matchups in terms of the fact that Charles was their number one receiver for the Browns, and I think the Packers can match that up like the Cardinals were not able to. I still think that Elliott Sack is the difference over Ike. Low-scoring affair. I'll take the Browns -2. Our final matchup of the week, 10-15 slot. The two 1-0 teams, the only one undefeated matchup so far. Pittsburgh Steelers heading into Seattle to take on the Seahawks. This is a matchup, probably the matchup of the week.
Matchup of the season.
Matchup of the season.
Many predicting this to be the,
Super Bowl
matchup. I'll let Fonz, you can go first this time. Give us your thoughts on this matchup.
Listen, I'm extremely high on the Seahawks. I think that they have very good leadership. They have great wide receivers, but they don't have a line. They don't have a line at all. I do not think Joey Araman showing up in his Stay Cool shorts and Stan Smith sneakers is going to be able to hold off the Steelers and the steel curtain that's coming at them. And Ike Batesh does not help. I truly think, and I want to pick the Seahawks because they beat the shit out of my team, but I really don't see anything happening if Seal doesn't have protection. He could scramble all he wants, but then when you look at the Steelers, defense dropping back, to have this guy Sim, who's by far one of the better defenders in the league, being picked so late on the house.
So you don't think Siegel has the scouting report on his boy Sim?
He has a scouting report on his boy Sim, but I don't think Siegel's been able to comprehend the scouting report as fast as he needs to with Dayan running in at him. I mean, Billy's good. Billy's very good. And this guy, Araman, couldn't, listen, I didn't have any sacks, but I walked through Araman like it was my job. Billy has, let's say, less power than me, but more speed than me, obviously. And I really don't see anything happening in the long game. I think maybe, Marty breaks off for a touchdown or two, but at the end of the day, it's all Steelers all day. I think they win 14 points.
Wow. So you're taking Steelers -14 over a team that just beat you by 25.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
so
bold.
the Steelers are what? Going to beat me by like 50? Is that what we're looking at? But
I think you're a home team, so you got 3 points in that matchup.
All right. I really, listen, I'm very high on the Steelers. I like their team. I like, their core that they have there. And again, at the end of the day, what's going to win in this league this year is the O-line and the D-line. And I don't see the Seahawks O-line holding up against the D-line of the Steelers. And I also, listen, I think what the Seahawks are going to do on D-line might disrupt the O-line of the Steelers a little bit, but I think that, they figure it out and they muscle through it and they win.
Meyer, your thoughts?
This is a very interesting game because you could go either way here. you could either say Siegel is going to capitalize on what he does best, which is just be a leader and a great quarterback and win this game. But then again, you got to take into account everything Fonz said with that offensive line. Joey?
There isn't an offensive line. I'll be the first to say.
There's a lack thereof, but lack thereof only because you got those two guys rushing in on defense. You got Billy, who's, if you could put Cameron Wade, Jason Taylor, Michael Strahan, and Reggie White together, they wouldn't be as good as this guy right now on this team. And then you got the other guy who's got his bleach blonde hair. He kind of looks like one of the Backstreet Boys. And
Wow.
I'm going to talk about that now.
Joey,
But
Joey
he's
is
still
part of the
Joey.
band.
You know me. I love you. I was about to play for you a couple of weeks ago. Also, he's still also a force on that defensive line. That's going to be tough for them. And then what Siegel has to throw it against a secondary comprised of Sammy Ashkenazi, Sammy Dayan's out there. ABJ could be a force, and who else? Who am I missing? I'm missing somebody. Bottom line, that other guy's going to fill that spot there. That's going to be tough for Siegel to throw
You see
on.
Tamam, the quarterback.
Tamam, I believe he sits out on defense. But talking about the Steelers'
Sim
offense,
Fuchs as well.
Simf, that's the guy, and Simf Fuchs is going to be an X factor in this game. As far as scouting goes, I don't think we should talk to Siegel about Simf Fuchs as much as we should talk about Victor Abadi, who's a guy that I called on draft day to represent the Vikings and contemplated drafting Simf Fuchs because he played with him back in Maine years ago.
Maine, the state.
In the state, yeah, he was
State of
more
Maine.
to that.
I didn't know this football in Maine.
Well-traveled man.
Yeah, Victor Abadi is a man of the land, as they called him. This is going to be a very interesting game. It's going to be a competitive game, in my opinion. I do think, though, that Sammy Ashkenazi is going to be the X factor mainly on this defense and seal the game with an interception to win 33-26 over the Seahawks. Yes, I think Tamam is going to light it up with his young rookie. What's the word? Ambition? I don't know.
Whatever you want to say.
I'm a Mauer guy.
You can make up words, yeah.
But he's going to light it up and use that big arm to go and look like Brett Favre in his earlier career. Throwing a couple picks for sure, but have the touchdowns to back it up. Got Steelers 33-26, -7 in this one.
So I just want to add one thing.
No problem. Go for it.
There is a way for the Seahawks to win, and that's if this guy Tamam just crumbles under pressure. I don't think the Steelers let that happen, but the key for the Seahawks to win this game, I don't think they're going to win, but if there is a chance for them to win, they need to apply extreme pressure on this Tamam kid, and they really need to disrupt his game, and that is the only way.
Wow, so you're both taking the Steelers to beat the Seahawks by at least a touchdown.
It's a tough one.
At the end of the day, it's a team sport. Siegel can't carry his team. He could carry his team so far, and against the talent on the other end of the ball, I really don't see it going that far.
I think Siegel could carry them. I just think that the Steelers' defense, like in the real NFL, can overpower that offense. And
So
disrupt.
I've been going back and forth on this matchup, even while you guys are talking here, and I see it playing out a little bit differently. I think that Siegel and Marty are going to have a great week. I predicted it last week. They didn't have a great week, but the score sort of dictated that. I think that Siegel
and Marty did not have a great week last week. Let's get one thing straight.
We know that.
We contained Marty, and if we can do it and not score any touchdowns, listen, if you're going to say that Roditi shouldn't have been picked number one and Sammy Dayan should, then I don't see why Sammy Dayan doesn't rise to this occasion and shut down Marty.
I think that the Steelers didn't play a quarterback at the level of Siegel. I don't think they're ready for what Siegel's going to bring to the table.
Sure.
I think that Billy and Joey, they had an easy matchup. Yes, they're both great players. I'm not taking anything away from them. They're both great linemen in this league. But I think that with a more, movable, he can move around more in the pocket. He brings another dimension to the game. I think that the Seahawks are going to win this game. I think it's a bold take. I think the Steelers,
very bold take.
The public will be on the Steelers.
I don't know how bold it is.
I think that the Steelers are going to get a lot of bets, but I think that the Seahawks are going to pull this out. I'm all in on Ellie Siegel. I'm all in. If I had money and I wasn't a commissioner, I would place all my money on him for MVP.
I would too.
I agree on that, Cole.
I
I
think
think Siegel gets MVP. He definitely takes his team to the next level. But you have to understand, the guys that are... Billy and Adis both played in Brooklyn. Billy's played against the best of the best in Mo D, Ezra Shami, Solian.
I think Siegel.
I'm
I think
telling
Siegel
you.
only needs that 3 seconds to make a play.
I'm telling
I don't
you,
think he
it's
needs the
not
time.
good. It's not
I
gonna
think
be
I
the-
don't
I
think he
don't
needs that much
I
time.
agree with you on that. I just think though that the Steelers defense, they could shut down Marty, who's obviously Siegel's favorite target. Vic Abadi's a great player also, but they could shut him down too.
I don't
The
think.
point is the Steelers defense has so many different moving pieces there that can stifle Siegel from extending the ball further towards
You
the
make
goal
great points, but here's my concern. Looking at the Steelers' offense, yes, they put up 26 points and they won, but two of those 4 touchdowns were Sim Fuchs full field touchdowns. I guess.
line.
The first play of the drive, quick out, and he's gone. I don't imagine that's going to happen this week. I don't think Marty and Siegel are going to let that happen. You take that away, Steelers only put up 2 touchdowns.
I don't know
besides
if you could put that away because then you have other guys because then that's also taking out Sammy Day from the offense and Sammy Ashkenazi. ABJ.
So Sammy Ashkenazi, you brought up Sammy Ashkenazi. I said this last week. I think he's a game breaker. I think he will have an impact on this game.
A huge
I
impact.
think he may get in the head of Siegel. I played with Siegel in softball. Sometimes he gets a little rocky. You can get in his head. I think Sammy may use that to his advantage. But
I know in football, Siegel is a very
Very
level-headed guy. It's not easy to get into his head. The only way I remember, Ellie, if you're watching, Bula hit you late.
Ellie will be watching. He's always Ellie's
only
always the
time.
first one to text me after this, so he's definitely will
Well,
be
so-
watching.
He beats me to
so
the
that-
text.
Definitely, he beats
So
you.
you remember when Bula took you out in a cheap shot on the sideline? I think that was the only time I ever saw you lose your cool in the last 6 years. So I don't think Sammy can get into his head so easily unless he does something dirty, which I don't think he will. I do. Again, this is a game that could really go either way. The only reason I'm saying it's a 7-point spread is because there's going to be that one score in between, and we don't play with field goals. It's really a 1-point game if you think about it.
So I'll take the Seahawks to upset the Steelers.
What's your spread?
I think it's going to be a really close game, but I think that the Seahawks are going to score a late touchdown to make it an even bigger game. I'll take the Seahawks minus 11.
Wow.
Okay.
I think that Isaac Tamam will have. I said week 1 he's always calm. I think he'll be very calm. I think he'll be all right. I think that the Seahawks are going to put up a big showing, and I think that this is what the Steelers need. I think that the Steelers need to be humbled. They come off a very big high. They think they beat the second best team in the league. I think that the Dolphins, we've seen that they're not the second best team.
These are
Off the
definitely, in my opinion, the 2 best teams.
I think that the Seahawks have proven that they can do it. I am taking the Seahawks to win by 11 points. I know that this is going to be talked about and people are going to hate on that. I'll take Seahawks minus 11 and I'll go to sleep with that. No problem.
I'm putting my money on Billy Dayan with a full head of steam and confidence. I'm sorry.
I also am looking forward to the 6 texts I'll get from each individual on the Steelers. They're very loud, all of them, after my prediction. But Seahawks minus 11. Marty, Ellie, I'm putting it all on you guys. Make it come true. Minus 11.
It's not happening. There's
See,
no
Lewis?
way that line. There's no way that line stops the Steelers O-line / D-line.
Like I
It's
said, I
not
don't think
possible.
Ellie will need that much time.
Joey just sent the video this morning to the chat of Billy revving his engine. I was scared of that, and I was sitting in my office, safe from everything. I don't know what question is there.
It's also a little fun to rile up guys that will get riled from projections. So
But yeah.
you got to take that into
See,
consideration.
that's the worst part about all this. I don't like to get on anybody's bad side.
I don't give a shit.
It's
I'm
listen.
sorry.
You sign up for the
Listen,
league. You know what comes with
It
it.
is what it is. Everybody knows where we stand. At the end of the day, we think we're giving our opinion.
Correct. It's a league at the end of the day. You know what I mean. We're playing in a friendly league. It's
There's
Sunday
no
morning. You know what I mean.
disrespect for me.
There's no contracts. There's no reward for when you get a trophy. It's all fun and games. But we have a job to do, and we got to be honest, and we got to say what we think. And if people are upset about that, then so be it. But we got to just do what we got to do, and that's at the end of the day. So that is the week 2 projections. A lot of good content, a lot of good stuff, gentlemen.
I think it's going to be a very interesting week too.
I think that the
that last game, the Steelers Seahawks, is going to be a very interesting game that is going to either mold the league in which direction it's going.
So you had Ralph Hannon potentially winning Player of the Week. Meyer.
No, I don't. Not potentially. I have Ralph
Hannon
winning
guarantee.
Player of the Week.
That's a Fonz guarantee right there. Ralph Hannon. winning.
Hannon has the. Excuse me. Ralph Hannon has.
There you go.
Ralph Hannon has the revenge game of the ages and shows Elliott why he shouldn't trade him. And that's the bottom line.
Meyer.
I got somebody from the Packers, but it's not Ralph Allen. It's Buka. 3 touchdowns and a pick on the defense to win the player.
So you're both going in you're both all in on the Packers. You have Ralph Hannon, you have Buka. I don't have the Packers winning, so I can't pick that. I'll
pick
go
Siegel again.
I'm not gonna pick Siegel again. I'm not gonna pick I'm not gonna go in that matchup.
Pick Joey Aaron.
I think there's gonna be a lot of turnovers in that matchup. I think it's gonna be an ugly battle. I'm gonna go in the Dolphins-Raiders matchup, but I have the Dolphins winning, so Fonz, it's not you. I have Robert finally showing up. I think his quarterback will help him enough, and I think that Robert will win Player of the Week, probably scoring 3, maybe 4 touchdowns.
You want to make a
Like,
bet on that right now?
I'm unfortunately I'm not allowed to bet as the commissioner of the league.
Let's go right now.
I'll make it.
My
Right
contract.
now, $1,000. Let's go. Right now.
Fonz came to play, you know that.
Robert, $1,000. Robert doesn't win Player of the Week.
Unfortunately, I can't bet on that because I get to decide Player of the Week, so I can, sort of make that happen.
Wow.
I'll have to speak with my superior beings, but maybe we'll talk off the tape. I want to thank you guys for joining me. This has been a pleasure.
Just want to say one thing.
Fonz always has to say one thing, no problem. Fonz, please go ahead.
Never mind.
I feel this is gonna be a regular seat for him.
No, listen. If anyone has anything that they disagree in what we said, show up on the field and show us why we should disagree. It's a challenge to
I
everyone.
told you that and you didn't do it. You said you called me out for my week 1 prediction and you were wrong.
Text me, I'll apologize also for that.
And I'm a man of my word. We shit the bed. It is what it is. We move on. We learn from our mistakes. At the end of the day, if you don't believe in yourself, who the hell are you going to believe in?
Exactly.
I fully believe in my abilities on that field.
I
And
can't.
every now and then, you need to be humbled. And Ellie Siegel humbled the shit out of me. And I'll
And
be honest.
I think Ellie Siegel, like I said, is going to humble the you know what out of the Steelers this coming week.
What a storyline. You heard it here first.
Thank you all. We're looking forward
Can't
week
wait
2, 9 a.m. start, 9 a.m. sharp. We'll see you all there.